Oh, sorry, I was not even using my earpiece. Yeah.
Everybody, we are going to be exploring Excel, right? And just as I mentioned earlier, Excel is the very, very vast tool. It's a very, very vast tool. We have so much to cover with with so limited time, right? So much to cover with so much limited time, right? Um, so I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share my full desktop so we can begin. Okay, no, let me share this first. So I don't know if you can see my screen, right? So what we have here is we have about I mean you don't have this, right? But I just want to explain something to you. What I have here on my system, I have about 204 Excel functions that we can go through, but it is not possible to go to 204 functions. And to be honest, you actually don't need 204 functions to be able to Excel, right? Using Excel, right? So we could just focus on the basics, right? Those, I mean, the basics are intermediate functions that if you master, right? Because I realized working in Excel is that if you just really know the basics, right, those major ones, right, you can really excel with the complex ones because it all follows the same pattern, right? So if you can just follow these basic ones, and we are going to, if you have the course agenda opened, it's a free file, right? You see we have a lot to cover, and we'll just get straight to it, right? So the first one, the first file I want you to open is called um Excel useful tips. Excel useful tips. And if you notice the all the documents are passworded. So the password for that I'm going to be displaying on the screen. The password for that Excel useful tips. The password for Excel useful tips is taps Excel 001. I'm also going to put it on the chat in the chat room. So please let's open it. Taps 001, right? So it is the password. In case you cannot see it, I'm trying to make it as big as possible. Useful tips and tools, right? Don't worry. After this session, I'm going to share the password with you via mail, so you don't have to copy everything at the moment. Just focus on this. Tabs Excel 001, so we can begin. Useful tips and tools in Excel, right? So we'll give you a very broad overview of Excel, talking about some major things. Then we go into the meat of it, right? So let's open our document, tabs Excel 001. Please, if you have it open, just say done, 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 done. Tabs Excel 001. It's also in the chat room. Tabs Excel 001. Let's just open it. If you have it done, just say done, 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 done. I think it should give you this. Okay, one person. Please, where can I find the document? Documents can be found in this. No. Document is not your mail. The document was sent. I mean, there was a mail sent to you to download the document. Documents can be found in Onyeka. Let me just send the link again to the group so you quickly download it as we begin. So this is where you can get the document from, right? So it's called MX Excel training file, right? Just go there and download it. Now, so let's begin, right? While that starts, right? I mean, we're not doing anything major for the first 3 minutes. So you can quickly go and download those files and open it while we begin with other people, right? So Excel is divided into rows and columns, right? And I don't know if you can see me, right? But the way I mastered role, and it may look very basic, but honestly, I'm telling you, when you get to formulas, you understand how not basic this thing is, right? Rows are this horizontal, right? Rows are horizontal. Row. You roll your boat like this, right? You roll your boat. Row is horizontal, and columns are vertical, right? And if you notice, these are columns. These are columns. Columns are vertical, right? Rows are horizontal, right? And once that will help me is that you can really unmute your mic because I like you to be interactive as much as possible, and I'm active for feedback as we go on. So I know I'm not talking to myself, right? And so columns, please pay attention. Columns are identified using letters, while rows are identified using numbers. Please pay attention. It's basic, but really helpful. So rows are identified using numbers. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Columns are identified using letters A, B, C, D, and co, right? So we have A, B, C, D till the last one, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? That's how Excel is named. And what you can see, what we have we have different cells within this Excel worksheet, right? And the Excel worksheets are named column, then row. It's very important that it's not row, then column. Column, then row. Column, then row. For example, if I write something here, B here, if I go to this, what you see here, what you call the name box, right? Name box. And what you can see here is E6, right? That means it's saying this is in column E, row 6, right? So everybody just put in the chat room, formatting a cell. What is the Excel name for formatting a cell? Tell me the Excel reference for formatting Excel. What is the row number and what is the column number? Where formatting Excel is now, what is the row number, what is the column number? Formatting Excel, you can mute your mic and say it. You can. Someone says C1. Are you sure it's C1?
A1.
A1. Are you sure it's A1?
B1.
Okay. I mean A1, B1, C1. Is there another one again? Right. So it is. So what you do is just go to where formatting the cell is, right? You can see it's spilled into other areas, but it's actually in B1. Look at it here. It's actually in B1, right? It's in B1. It's spilled into other ones, but like, see, it's not the okay. So sorry. What you have here is the name box. What you have here is the formula bar, right? A formula bar tells you what is inside the cell. So for formatting Excel, if you notice, it's not in D1 because nothing showing in this formula bar. It's not in C1 because nothing showing in the formula bar. It's in B1 because although it's spilled into other cells, right? If I type something in C1 now, you're not able to see the rest again, right? So it's actually in B1. Please, let's note that. Second thing I would like us to note is that Excel is very linear in thinking. It's very linear in thinking. So that means if you are saying Excel calculates your every move linearly, right? It doesn't know how to think on its own. It's not an advanced machine, right? It's a basic machine, but also very intuitive, but it thinks linearly. That means if you tell Excel 1 + 1, Excel will say, okay, the next one should be 2 + 1 or 2 + 2, depending on what you tell it, right? But it will always think linearly. Excel will not think 5 times 7, right? It will always think linearly. Excel thinks linearly. The next thing I would like us to know in Excel is that Excel reads in numbers, right? Excel reads in numbers. And let me show you something. I'm going to type something here. To see true and false. Now listen very carefully. Now Excel automatically formats every number to the right. Excel formats every number to the right. The default format for Excel is that Excel will format every number to the right. So if I keep on writing numbers, you see that no matter the kind of number I write, it will always be formatted to the right because Excel formats numbers to the right. Excel sees numbers 1 and 0. That's how Excel sees numbers, sees everything in numbers, right? Excel format text to the left. So if I write my name, Onyeka, format it to the left. Any other name, any other thing, whatever, Rema, anything, right? Format everything to the right. But if I write true is meant to be a text, but Excel is formatting it to the middle and is capitalizing it. Look at it again. If I write false, I'm writing this in small letters, right? But it makes I type enter, and you can try it in your laptop. It makes you type enter, right? It will automatically capitalize it and centralize it. True and false. And I will get back to this in a minute. Right? True and false. That is because Excel sees true and false. They call them Boolean, right? But I would say with the grammar, nobody needs grammar, right? You just need to know how it works, basically, right? Excel sees true as 1 and Excel sees false as 0. So true and false are not text in Excel. They are Boolean characters. So Excel sees true as 1 and Excel sees false as 0. And I will give an example. Mathematics, simple mathematics. 1 + 1 to give us 2, right? So if I come here and do true, that is here. I will teach us how to reference and everything later. But if I do true + 1, it will give me 2. But if I do false + 1, it will give me 1. Because Excel sees false as 0. For example, if I do 2 times true, 2 times true is almost the same thing as 2 times 1. It will give me 2. But if I do 2 times false, it will give me 0, because anything multiplied by 0 gives 0. Normal basic mathematics, right? So Excel sees true as 1, false as 0. Please pay attention to help us going forward. Now, if you notice, this, although it's a number, is formatted to the left, which is strange because Excel typically formats numbers to the right. If you come to the formula bar up here, you will notice something. You notice that instead of me writing 120, I put an apostrophe before 120. So if I put anything before a number, it will see it as a text. But as far as a number, if I change back to normal 120, it turns back to the left, to the right, right? But anything you put before the number, even if it's a number, if you put a sign, a symbol, whatever I put, right, before a number, right, it will see it as a text, right? So I will save us the rest, right? We will learn that as we move on. Please let's just put that in our subconscious, right? So in Excel, we have different tabs, right? We have file, home, insert, draw, page layout, formulas bar, data, and everything, right? And I will not bother myself going through each of these different tabs, right? One thing I've realized is that mastery is learned through use, right? So the more and more you get familiar with each of the tabs, you will know what and what is inside these tabs, right? But the major tabs I would like us to learn, right, or to know, right, or to prioritize is the home tab, right, and the data tab, right? To be honest, if you are comfortable with the home tab, maybe the insert tab for some people, the home tab and the data tab, right, to carry out major Excel major Excel functions, tips, truths, anything you'll be able to use if you master this cells, right? But what can help you? What can help you is, okay, no, we'll get there in another time, right? Sorry, let's move on. I will skip some things, even though we have it in the order, right? Because I don't think they're necessary at the moment. I mean, they're necessary, but because of our time, okay, right? If we have an extra time towards the end, we can always come back and I mean, you can always turn back and say, Onyeka, I really wanted to learn free spins, right? But I did not learn it, but we will come back to that, right? So now I'd like to just talk about fast scrolling. How do you fast scroll in Excel? So at the moment, if you notice in this data sets, right, we have over 15,000 plus, right? So we have a lot. So you can see the first one we have here is 2000. We have up to 2002. It's a lot of data in just in this cell. So if you want to move down, most people pressing the arrow key and we're going down, arrow key, arrow key, arrow key, arrow key, arrow key. Before they get to the final one, they won't forgotten where they're going to, right? So what you can use to fast scroll or to go down is pressing control down, control and down key. So the control, let me type it here, the control key plus the arrow down key, right? Your arrow down key, whatever your arrow down key is, right? So if I come here and I press control and arrow down key, it takes me to the last active cell, right? So that's the way you can easily fast scroll between the first cell and the last active cell, right? Remember I said last active cell. So if the last active cell is, for example, watch me, if I delete this 2022 here, right, and I go up, if I press control down, it will not take me to the final one, final one. It will take me to the last active cell before the space. Do you understand, right? So control down will take to the last active cell. That's where you can easily fast scroll, right? Also, in the same vein, right? Now, imagine you are fast scrolling and you have gotten down here, right? And okay, let's say let me explain this data, right? We have the year, we have the type, we have product, producers, volume, cost price, and price per unit, right? Now, imagine you are doing something and you are doing an analysis on this rule, and you say, oh my god, what is this column again? What is H? Is H price? Is H volume? It is cost price or selling price? You have forgotten, like, oh my god, you now have to now go up again and say, okay, oh, H is cost price. You now start going down again to do whatever we're doing, right? So that's what we have, what you call free spin, right? So free spin is a useful tool in Excel that helps you basically freeze a particular row or a particular column. Freeze a particular row or column. That's as simple as it gets. Freeze a particular row or column, and you can freeze both row and column, right? So, for example, let's say we want to freeze this. For example, what do you want to freeze now? we want to freeze these headers, right? So that in such a way that when we go down, no matter how far down we go, right, we want to be able to always see the header, so we know what exactly we are working with, right? Because like now, I haven't forgotten whether this is price or cost, right? You haven't forgotten the headers, right? So we want to freeze the headers, freeze the headers, as the name implies, right? Sorry, give me a minute. I want to, okay, yeah. So we want to freeze the headers as the name implies. So to freeze the headers, right? To freeze the headers, right? Let's say we have, just pardon me, I like to work on something. So yeah. So imagine you also have many data this way, right? And you are here. You've forgotten what year this relates to. This price, is it 2022 or 2021? We've forgotten, right? So we can freeze a particular role, and we can freeze a particular column. Remember, this is role, this column, role, column, right? So and to do that, right, we go to the cell below the role and column we want to freeze. For example, this is the role we want to freeze, right? And this is the column we want to freeze, right? So this is the role we want to freeze, column we want to freeze. The first cell, just after that intersection, we will go to it, right? So this is the cell just after the intersection between the role and the column we want to freeze. So we come here, right? And we go to view, right? Sorry, my the sharing button is, sorry, okay, just gonna let me share again. Sharing button is stopping me from seeing the headers. Okay, now, so you go to sorry, I can't see my, okay, repeat. Okay, so you go to view, your view tab, right? And I said you put your cursor on the between the intersection, and you click on freeze panes, right? So what happens is that, so I went to view, I went to freeze panes, right? View, freeze panes, right? But my selection was on this cell C5. So what happened is that no matter how far down I scroll, even if I scroll to 15,000, blah 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 blah, I will still be able to see my headers, right? Is that clear for everybody? Clear? If it says clear, just say clear, 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 clear. Let me see on the chat box. Let me know we're together, and I'm not talking to myself. Are we clear? Clear. One person is clear, two people are clear. Awesome. Let's keep moving. Right. So next we have is fixing referencing. And I will leave this because we'll talk about it when we go into the next sheets that we have. Right. So let's go to text column. Right. Now, the next thing that I would like us to note is that in Excel, right, there are 1,000,001 ways to 1,000,001 things. Right. So even if I tell you this way to do it, right, as we're going to work in Excel, you realize, there's another way to do it. There's another way to do it. There are always multiple ways to do anything in Excel, right? So, always be open to knowledge, right? That multiple ways to do multiple things. Now, imagine you are given this set of data, right? What we're doing is just useful tips, right? In Excel, this will help you, anybody regardless the industry, and they give you this data, right? And this data has, okay, let me give you a life scenario. I used to work in a bank. I used to be a performance analyst, data analyst in a bank, right? And what's happening is that by the time let's say you are opening forms for people, I mean opening bank accounts for people manually, right? So you get them in to get everybody filling paper manually, everybody fill the paperwork, right? And the marketers now input it on the system, right? But because the way they input on the system, everybody can input it on the system in various ways, right? So sometimes, right, instead of somebody to separate the first name, second name, for example, what we have here is that we have the first name, we have the surname, we have the gender, we have the age, and let's say we have the salary of the person, right? But instead of the person to do it in separate columns, the person just lumped everything in one, right? And I'm like, oh my god, how should I do this? How will I do this thing, right? There are multiple ways. Remember, there are multiple ways to do it, right? I'm going to just two ways to do it, right? There are multiple ways to do it. Remember, multiple ways to do multiple. There are 1,001 ways to do 1,001 things in Excel. So the first way that many people will use is the manual method, right? So I mean, we have about 31, just about 31 series of data, right? So some people can want to do it manually. So they put Andre, please follow me. They put Cooper. Say, okay, guy is a male, actually. He's 45 years and his salary is $80,000. Right. Now, this is one way, right? But it will be foolishness to keep on doing typing everything out again, typing everything out again, typing everything out again, typing everything. It will be foolish to do it, right? So what you do, right? There's, I mean, I said Excel thinks very linearly, right? So it helps Excel. Is an asset and also a liability for Excel. That it thinks linearly. That means it says, okay, this girl has, or this guy or this girl, right? From this data, he has taken Andre Cooper, male, 45 years, 80,000, right? If I come to the next cell and I press Control E, Control E, Control E, what Excel does is that it flash fills. I said Excel thinks very linearly. So I say, okay, I believe this is what you're trying to do, Abby. Andre, Daniel, Crystal. It takes the first name, right? Okay, that's nice. We go to the next one and I press Control E. It says, okay, so I think that's what you're doing, right? So it begins to logically fill Control and E, Control and E key, Control and E key. It begins to logically fill it for you. Control E, Control E, Control E. So Excel thinks, just took initiative and said, because you did this first one like this, I'm going to replicate it the same way. Replicate it the same way, right? Exactly the same way. So this is one way to do it. And as I said, there are multiple ways to do multiple things in Excel. Right. The second way to do this is what you call text to column, right? Text to column in Excel. So if you go to your data tab, right? So we have home, insert, draw, page layout, formulas, data tab. If you go to your data tab in Excel, you see what you see under data tools, you will see what you call text to column. I'm moving my cursor to that area, text to column, right? Now, this is the same thing to get the same result. It's the same, but it's multiple ways to get the same result, right? Just quickly. So we click on, if we highlight this cell, I mean the cells we want to work with, right? First highlight it and click on text to column, right? Text to column, right? And now it gives us a wizard, right? So convert text to column wizard. Basically, convert text lump up in one cell into multiple columns. That's what it's telling you, right? And there are two ways to do it, right? You can either do it through a delimiter or through fixed width, right? I will explain what delimiter is, right? So Excel is saying that what is separating, I mean, so for example, now Excel is asking you how is this cell arranged, right? Is the cell arranged in such a way that, because Excel is logical, right? It's in such a way that the characters, right, are separated by specific things. For example, the first name, surname, all the characters are separated by space. So after a space, there's next. I mean, that's how we want to break it down, right? Sometimes it can be a semicolon, a comma, or something, right? If there is a unique delimiter, right, or multiple delimiters, right, we can use this, right? Next one is what we call fixed width, right? That means basically if all the characters are the same letter. So let's say we have 4 letter, 3 letter, 2 letter, 4 letter, 3 letter, 2 letter. So it's the fixed width, right? We can use this next one, but for us, what we have here is delimiter, right? So is being separated by a particular character, right? It can be space, it can be anything. So we say an Excel is delimiter. So press next, right? So Excel is asking us, what are the delimiters? What are the things that are used to separate these values? And we tell Excel is space, right? And you can see data preview here. So Excel has shown us that, okay, if after every space I'm going to move the next word to the next column, this is how it will look like. Andre Cooper, male, 45 years, and this the amount, right? Are you okay with it? Right? You can tell Excel, say, yes, this looks like what we want to do. So we click on next, right? So Excel is asking us, what is destination? Do you want to start it from this cell B4, or do you want to start it from another cell, right? Do you want to start the breakdown from this cell or from another cell? Let's say we tell Excel, you know what? We want to start it from C, not from B. I say what's my original value here, right? So we tell Excel, I want to see it from C, and we click on finish, right? And click on OK. You see Excel has brought it into this cell, right? Based on what we told Excel we want, right? Right. So as I said, there are 1,000,001 ways to do 1,000,001 things. I mean, obviously, the flash fill seems to be faster, right? Or I mean, it just depends, right? It all depends on whatever you want, right? I mean, the flash fill seems to be cooler, maybe not maybe not faster, cooler, right? But whatever works for you, right? So moving up very, very quickly, we have sorts, right? How to sort data, right? This may be very basic and simple, but trust me, we just want to just cover it very quickly. The basics. Once we get to 11 o'clock, we go into some advanced things, just to cover for those that might not be very familiar with Excel, right? How to sort data in Excel, right? Now imagine we have a like this. We have a large number of data, right? Now, okay, sorry. Before we go to flash fill, let me give you one wonderful tip in Excel. So in Excel, there's what you call the, I don't know what to call it, but I'll call it hot magic for lack of a better word, or hot direction. So if you press the hot key in your laptop, everybody can you press hot key, the hot key in your laptop? What you will notice is that they automatically, there are different characters that shows on all the tabs, right? So let's assume I want to go to the home tab, right? What I'll just press is H, right? So it takes me to the home tab, right? And in the home tab, I can see other letters, right? So let's say I want to make this text bold. What I need to do is just press 1, right? 1, right? So Alt H1 was what I used to bolden my text, right? If you see people that are really good in Excel, I mean, one way to know is that they really use their mouse or keypad, right? They're always on the keyboard alone, right? They navigate with the keyboard, right? I mean, I said there are multiple. I mean, obviously there's obviously a shorter way to bolding the text, right? But I mean, I just did that because that was a very simple example, right? It's easy to find things around. So I mean, the more you use it. For example, now I want to format I want to put a filter on this, right? And just, I mean, the way we are talking, I did it immediately, right? But if you want to do it, right, some of you come to home, if you go to data and you go to filter here, right, you can have this, right? Right. So now let me ask you guys, what is the halt shortcut to get to filter? I said filter is to go to data and press on filter, right? But if I don't want to use that way, if I want to use the alt way I taught you now, alt, then go to data, then go to filter, what will I press to filter? Anybody? What will I press to filter? Anybody? You can mute your mic or you can just put it in the chat room. What will I press to filter? Anybody? What will I press to filter? Let's try together. Let's try together. We're together. Let's try. Hello, guys. Anybody? Don't tell me nobody. Don't tell me nobody. Someone said Alt H5, I guess. Do you try? Let's try it. Alt H5 will it give you? I said to get filter. If I want to put a filter on this, right? Filter is in data tab. This okay, no worries. This is where filter is, right? Yeah, right. And I said if I want to use the alt shortcut, and I thought us, right, we just press the hotkey and it shows us everything, right? Then we go to data. Just let's use that, right? So what is the shortcut to get to filter, right? Using what I just showed us. It's very simple, right? But I'd like to know that I'm not alone in this class. Anybody? Please unmute your mic. Let me know we're not together. I mean, let me know I'm not alone. We are 27 people on this call. Alt A, will Alt A do it? Alt A will not do it sufficiently because Tamara said Alt Alt 80. Perfect, yes. Alt HT, 80, sorry, right? So as I said, just watch me. If you press Alt key, this letter shows, right? And where we're going to is data tab. Data is in A. So click on A, right? And where we're going to is filter, and filter is in T. Click on T, and it automatically does it for us, right? This will help you. I mean, because you just look you just seem so smarter working with somebody and just pressing your laptop, just Alt H something, who is this guy? Right? And the more and more the reason why I know Alt H is because I use filter a lot, right? So the more and more you use different functions, you'll be able to know where where they are, and be able to command more mastery of them, right? Very simple, very easy, right? And you can filter, right? Let's say you're looking for example, we have what I did was just click on this, right? We have convenience stores, hypermarket, supermarket. Let's say I want to see only hypermarkets. I can filter for only hypermarkets, right? And it shows me only hypermarkets, right? And I can undo this filter, right? We have costs, right? Let's say I want to for example, now let's say I want to see all the costs that are less than or greater than 5, for example. You can come here and say number filter greater than, right? Greater than 5, right? And put OK. So it will automatically filter for all the costs greater than 5. Do you understand? So it's endless. It's the possibilities are endless to do. To sort, to figure out what exactly you want to do with the particular data, right? The possibilities are endless, right? I'm going to move very, very fast because I like us to go into the next one by exactly 11 o'clock, right? So now, select special. Please listen very carefully, and this will really help everybody, right? Now, imagine you are given this data, right, and you have two dilemmas, right? So what I'm focusing in these useful tips is how to do data cleansing, right? Because everybody, no matter the kind of job you work in, right, you will have data cleansing error, right? So the best way to, for a data analyst or a user of Excel, no matter if you're a data analyst or not, right? One of the primary thing is that you like your Excel to be, you like your data to be formatted nicely, right? At least let it be useful for you, right? Useful to use, right? But sometimes, right, we can get data in different forms. I'm like, oh my god, man, this is like, where will I start from, right? How will I start analyzing this data, right? Right. And the simple way to analyze data, right, or to help clean data, we can use select special. For example, the error we have here, or the issue we have here, is that in this sales, right, anywhere the sales were 0, instead of them to put 0, they just put blank cell. So we have blank cell in multiple places because the person that was inputting data, instead of the person to just put 0 where there was blank cell, I mean, 0 in the blank cell, the person just put empty space, right? So how do we work around this, right? How to work around it? Just give me a minute. How do we work around that, right? So as I said, there are multiple ways to do multiple things in Excel. So where we have space, the first one way to do is that we can highlight everything that is in sales. Watch me. I highlighted everything that is in sales, right? And I press Control H. Control H is a shortcut for find and replace. Control H for find and replace, right? Just give me a minute. If I come and I put let's say I tell Excel Control H, yes, find and replace, right? So if I come and say Excel, I'm looking for blank. Anywhere you see, I say find what? Anywhere you see a blank space, just give me 0. Excel, anywhere you see a blank space, give me 0. And I put replace all. You know that anywhere there was a blank space, Excel replace it with 0. As simple as that, right? Very straightforward. Anywhere there was a blank space, Excel replace with 0. Very straightforward, very simple. Blank space, Excel replaces 0, right? But I said there are multiple ways. The second way is to also highlight these sales, right? Watch me. And we're going to use what we call go to special, right? Go to special. So we come to home, right? Under home, right? We have find and select. Find and select. Under home, we have find and select. If I click on go to special, find and select, go to special, right? I can tell Excel to go to a particular thing. So I can tell Excel go to everything that's a constant, or go to everything that's a formula, or go to everywhere that there's an error, right? Or go to everywhere there's blank, right? What we want at the moment is blank, right? We want to go to blank cell. So we tell Excel go to blank cell and click on OK. So every blank cell under sales region, Excel has highlighted it, right? And what we want to do, we want to replace blank cells with 0, right? So if I put 0 here, right? Instead of putting enter, I will press Control Enter. Right, that means I tell Excel, don't just put 0 for this cell, but for every cell that's been highlighted. So if I press Control Enter, what we notice that everywhere there was a blank cell that highlighted, there's now a 0. Do you understand? Any question, anybody? Do you have any question? Anybody? Oh, no, not for me. Okay, awesome. Now the same thing for this, right?
Just scrolling through, and then some guy, his name was Onyeka Ogu, I don't even know, I don't follow him. Somebody just shared. They said that because of the
Sorry? Hello, Enyoma?
the
Hello? Okay, I think
I'm so sorry.
okay, no problem. Sorry. Let's continue. So what we have here is that we have just give me a minute. Somebody is really urgently trying to get my attention. I'm trying to deflect the just send the person the message to join the training. Just give me 2 seconds. Yeah. So now we have similar issues here, right? We have that now the person was inputting the data, right? And anywhere for example, everything here belongs to the game division, but the person was so lazy. Instead of writing game, but just put game, Jerry, just put game in one place and said that see everywhere that there's space here, they're all in the game division. The same thing. I will just instead of writing productivity multiple times, right? Productivity division. I will just put one productivity division, and that means that every other thing between here to here are all in productivity division. Same thing for utilities, right? The person also did similar thing for dates, right? Instead of repeating dates, he said this is 1st of January 2019. This everything here is these 2 things are for the same date. So everywhere there's a space, right? It means that the last data, right, still reflect the same thing. So now the issue is that how do we now do the same thing? Will I now be doing putting game everywhere, game? Like how long will I have to do this thing, right? I mean, now you can say it's not long because data is not a lot. But let's say you have about a data that has about 15,000 rows, right? How will you start doing it manually? It is a nightmare, right? So the simple way to do it is using that go to special again. So I'm going to highlight the affected cells. The affected cells are this, right? The games, I mean the division and dates, right? So you highlight the selected cells. Now, somebody, what is the alt shortcut to get to go to special? Remember, I thought it was hot. I said go to special is somewhere here, right? It's here. See, we go to specialist, right? But I would like us to use hot. How do we get to go to special? Everybody using hot, the hot key. I just thought us. Anybody hotkey. How do you get to go special? You can just unmute your mic or you can type it in the comment section. How do we get code special? Image please. How do we get to go to special? Anybody? How do you get to go to special? Anybody use
HFD.
Alt what? Sorry. Alt H what? Sorry. Can you type in the comment section? I did not get that. Alt HFD. Okay. Let me see. Let's try it. Alt. Alt HFD. Yeah, it's not complete. Of Alt HFDS is go to special, right? I mean, yeah, but yeah, you get the point, right? So we say Excel, go to the blank one, right? And put OK. Now, the issue is that this is not like zero. It's not like we want to put zero everywhere. It's not like the other one we did, right? That was okay, Excel, just put zero everywhere. It's not as simple as that, right? This one we have multiple things, right? So, Tim, we have multiple things, right? So what we want to do is that we want to tell Excel everything above it, copy it. For example, now what we want to do here is that we want Excel to copy game, right? We want Excel to copy the data above it, right? So what we'll do that we'll press equals to key. Now look at where your equals to key is, because for different people will be in different places. But for me, once I press equals to, my equals to key is here. It's under this date here. So if I say equals to the one above it, right? So I tell Excel, if there's a space, copy the cell before it. Tell Excel, if there's a space, copy the cell before it. And instead of pressing enter alone, I'll press Control Enter. Instead of pressing enter alone, I'll press Control Enter. So I press Control Enter, and voila. What we can see is that everywhere there was a space, Excel automatically copied the previous cell. How do we get this data? You can get this data from this file. You can download it from here. MS Excel training file, and the password is taps Excel 01. Yeah. So moving on. Do we understand how we did this? Do we understand how we did this? Everybody? You guys are very quiet in today's session. No? You guys are very, very quiet. I feel like I'm talking to myself. Are we together? Are we together? Okay. Thank you to the 1 or 2 people that are answering me.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I believe there's no issue with that. So we go into we just go into this too quickly, and I don't know if we will to do the rest. I doubt, but let's just do this to them. Go straight into the formulas, right? So this is very basic, right? Just as I mentioned, the same way you can so we are dynamic naming, right? Now what you have here, what cell is this? This flutter wave cell, what cell is this? Anybody? It's cell C5, right? C5, right? The same way this is C5, you can actually change the name of a cell. You can change it of Excel. For example, if I want to change this flutter wave to, I want to change it to company, right? So I type here company, right? Now Excel is not seeing this as C5 again. Excel is seeing this as company. So if I go somewhere and I say equals to company, Excel will give me what is there. So what I've done is that I can change the name of a particular cell, right? And if you see my formula bar, it's in equals to company, because Excel is seeing this as company, right? Excel is seeing this as company. Do you understand? The same way it is, this is C6. I can also change it to, let's say, COY, or I can change to fiscal year or something, or year, right? I can change it to year, right? So if I put equals to year, right? Now this is not a function, right? It's a name. So this is there's a year that's a function, there's a year that's a name because we named it year. If I click on year, it will give me what is there, right? So you can actually name cells, right? You can name cells. The same way you can name cells, same way you can name a table. For example, if I want to name this table, right? This table is at the moment is showing me 13 rows and 8 columns, right? I can change it to any name I want, right? I can change it to something else, right? So it all depends, right? So now there's I'll come into dynamic naming in the next sheet, right? The final thing I'd like us to touch here is data validation, right? Data validation. And another data validation, assuming you work in a company where people input data and you want to force them to input data in a particular manner. For example, before anybody can come here and just type anything here, right? I can type anything here. I can type number, I can type text, I'm like, oh my God, it's alarming, right? Let's say you want to make sure that everybody types, or the data that are inputted here are restricted to a particular number or text or words, right? You can do it with what you call data validation, right? And where can you find data validation? With tab, anybody? I mean, this is just a lucky guess. Where do you think you can find the data validation? Inserts, draw, page layouts, formulas, where? Anybody? Okay, data. Thank you. So if you go to data, we go to data tab, right? We will, when you come to data tools, under data tools, right, you will see what you call data validation, right? Yeah, there's a drop down here. You can see where I'm hovering my cursor. Data validation. If you click on data validation, right, now it's telling you now for this cell, right, what kind of value do you want to allow? So we can tell Excel allow any value here. Or we can tell Excel, I want to see only whole numbers, right? Or you can say Excel, I want to see only decimal points. We can tell Excel, I want to see a list, and that what we'll do. We can say Excel, what should be written here should be only text, or you can say text, but the length should not be more than this, should not be less than this, right? So you can almost, it's almost like you're doing a form on Excel, right? But let's say you want a list. Say Excel, I want it to be people should not be able to type anything. They should be able to select a list from a drop down, either this or this. So say Excel, we want a list. Excel will ask us where is the source of the list. Then you click on this arrow key, and this is the source here, right? I put drinks and chocolates, right? So let's say the options are only drinks and chocolates. So we tell Excel, you will highlight these two cells, drinks and chocolates, right? And we click on this arrow key again here, right? And click on OK, right? So if you notice what we did, that on this cell, right? What come up here, you see a drop down menu of drinks and chocolates. So if I click on chocolates, it shows. If I click on drinks here, it shows. And I can copy this format to other cells within this, right? So you see every cell here now has a drop down. So I can change this to, so now everybody, instead of typing it multiple times, you can just begin to select. Instead of writing drink chocolates, you can just select drinks or chocolates. It just makes your work easier, right? I believe we are all together on the same page. Perfect, right? If there are no questions, I'd like us to open the next document. The next document I'd like us to open is the Excel formulas. And the password for that is tabs03. I'm going to put it on the chat room, Formulas, tabs03. Excel formulas, tabs03. In fact, let's open both of them, right? Excel formulas and Excel functions. Excel formulas and Excel functions. Excel formulas and Excel functions. The formula, but the one we are using now is Excel formulas, tabs 03. That's the, let me just copy this in the chat room, so we are all on the same page. Yeah. So let's open Excel formulas. Please, when we have it open, can you just say done, so I know we are on the same page. Are we on tab Excel formulas? Okay, 2 people. If once we have about 3 people, like 5 or 6, who begin Excel formulas. Please, let's open both of them, both Excel formulas and Excel functions, because I'm going to be moving across both. I mean, across those two. Yeah. I believe you can see both Excel function and Excel formulas on my screen. Okay, so I believe 1, 2, 3. I mean, I would need like 2 other people to confirm that they have that open as well. Any other person confirming? Any other person confirming? Any other person confirming that they are there as well? Think opened one more person, so we can go on. Go ahead. I mean, one more person confirming. I find it difficult to access the files, right? The files are in the just download it from the link that was shared. Just MX Excel training, right? And it's all passworded, right? So just take the password and we can move on, right? So I believe we are good to go, right? With instead of people opening it. So let's just move ahead. Now, so writing formulas in Excel, right? Writing formulas in Excel is very, or writing formulas generally in Excel is very interesting and very easy to use. Easy, right? And there are multiple ways to do it, but what I would like to start with is some general principle of what not to do. Yeah, of what not to do. Then go into referencing, right? When writing a formula in Excel, to start writing a formula in Excel by using the equals to sign, right? Equals to. So to start writing a formula, you will use the equals to sign, right? The equals to sign, right? So we have certain rules, right? The first rule when writing a formula is that as much as possible, try and now you may have seen it in different I mean people writing formulas like that, but that does not make it correct, right? Because your formula should be editable, should be easy to understand, right? Sometimes you can see formulas of like 500 lines. Does that not make you, it's actually bad practice, right? Excel should be very, I mean your formula should be very, very simple to understand. The first rule is that never use a constant as much as possible, right, in your formula. For example, if you can see here, right? Let's say we have a service, we have a service, right? And we have a VAT, right? A tax of 20% on that price that we charge, right? Typically, the formula is, let's say the price is 1,500, right? Right, 1,500, and we want to add the VAT. To add the VAT is 1 plus, let's say VAT is 5%, 1 plus 5%, right? This is bad practice, right? 1 plus 5%. You are not meant to write, apart from this, I'm not supposed to try and emulate hard-coded numbers in your formulas. Because let's say somebody is trying to edit a formula, the person will now come and say, oh God, what is 1 5? What is 25%? What's happening here, right? But if we do it in this way, I put service and I put VAT, right? So what I do is I put equals to service times 1 plus VAT, right? 1 plus VAT. When somebody is trying to vet this thing, the person can come and say B7. What is B7? Oh, B7 means service. B8 means VAT. It's easier to audit, right? And it will help you when you are working with, let's say you're working with something that's very, very, very complex, right? And let's say you're working with something very complex, and you're trying to look for the error in, let's say you have and you're trying to look for the error. It's easier to know the error because you can actually isolate the different cells, right? And this is easier to change, right? I can actually come and change this to 6,000 or 600, change it to 900, and everything just automatically changes by itself, right? Without me having to go to the formula bar again and changing it, right? The best practice to have all your variables in separate cells and your formula just plain. The next thing is that when you write a formula, right? Let's say you write a formula across this, right? I mean across board, right? It must be the same thing. Let's say in a particular role, you want to get a particular thing. You don't write one formula for this, another formula for this, another formula for this. The formula must be the same thing. It must be easy for you to just drag. And I said Excel is linear, right? So if you write the formula once, you should be able to drag it across board and it automatically copies across. So you drag the formula from one point to another point and everything copies at once, right? That means that you are efficient. I mean, you are efficient in your use of formulas, or you know how to write formulas, right? But if for a particular line, for this particular 5 lines, you have to write 5 different formulas just to achieve the same purpose, it means that your formula is flawed, right? Because if that means that if one variable changes, the formula is not adaptive enough to change with it. Do you understand? And I'll explain it as we go forward. In Excel, right? And this is where I'll spend some time, right, before we go into the functions. In Excel, right, we need to understand the kind of referencing we have, right? In Excel, we have broadly, we have 3 kind of referencing. We have the absolute referencing, we have the relative referencing, and we have the secular referencing. 2 of them are good, 1 of them is bad. The absolute referencing, the relative referencing, and the secular referencing. I will start with absolute referencing. Please, let's watch very carefully. So now, what we want to do here is that okay, so everybody, can we just quickly do this? I will this will be an assignment for us, right? I mean, a classwork of some sort. Let's write 1 to 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This also bad. This is also bad practice, but 7, 8, 9, 10. We want to do the multiplication times table, right? So I write 1 to 12 this way. I also want us to write 1 to 12 this way, and I'm using the online way to do it, but basically that's not very important at the moment. But yeah, sorry, my 1 to 12 is not showing because I hid some shit. So let me bring it to this side. Yeah, so let's write 1 to 12 this way, vertically and horizontally, right? So I'm just color coding it so I will know it's different, right? And basically what we want to do is that we want to do the multiplication times table using one go. Multiplication times table using one go. But before we get to this, right, let's work on this, right? We won't get the multiplication time table using one formula, right? That would be, I mean, I believe anybody that can do this multiplication time table, right, using one formula, there's no other formula that will take you off your, no, maybe there'll be formulas, but generally speaking, when it comes to referencing, you are 100% good to go. So now, what we want is that they gave us discount prices, right? For discounts for prices in January, right? So if this is the price for this goods, right? We have Baba Blue, Goody, Treble, Okin biscuits, right? Those are in Nigeria. Those are these are former products that I used to sell in the market, right? So we have these prices and we have these various discounts for the prices, right? And now to get the price, the formula is price multiplied by 1 plus discount rate. I'm just writing it out so we know, right? So right. So it is price plus 1 plus discount rate. That's basically what we want to do, right? Simple, right? So if we come here and we say price multiplied by, open brackets, 1 plus discount rate, right? And press enter. And there's a, if you notice, there is a, come here. If you come here, there's almost like your cursor changes, right, to a dark plus sign. If you click on it, if you double click on it, right, twice, it copies the formula down, right? It copies formulas down, right? So what we can see here, that Excel is very intuitive, right? Because we did this the first time here. Excel just, when it came here, Excel brought everything further down, right? When we came here, Excel brought everything further down. When we came here, Excel brought everything further down, which is nice and good, right? Because it gave us our price for January, I mean for the various goods. Do you understand this, right? This is very simple, very basic. There's no referencing in this, right? Very simple, very basic, right? But complications now arise when, for example, now, assuming we want to get this same January price, but they tell us that our discount, we don't have discount per product, we have only one discount. The discount is here, is in cell H5, right? So all the discount is in H5, right? It's not in many. We have many discounts. All discounts are just in one cell. So if you come here and do the same thing, equals to, I said it's price times 1 plus discount rate. So this is the price here, right? Times open bracket 1 plus discount rate, right? And we close bracket and press enter. What we'll notice is that when we drag this thing down, right? Remember, I said just double click it here. If I double click it, you can see that what the answer, the values we're getting here is not the same values that we're getting here. This obviously is wrong, right? The issue is that I said Excel thinks linearly. So if you don't tell Excel what to do, Excel will always think linearly. So this is where rows and columns come into play again. Now, because we did not tell Excel what to do, right? When Excel came here, I told you Excel thinks linearly, because here Excel said you pick what was here from B7 and you pick what was here from H5. When you drag the formula down, Excel will also go linearly and go further down. It will pick the next one, but what will happen to the discount? The discount for us, the discount is not changing. We don't want discount to change. We want every other thing. We want the price to be coming down, but we don't want the discount to change, right? So we have to look for a way to tell Excel that Excel, I know you are thinking linearly, but for this discount, don't think linearly. This discount should remain the same way it is. Fix it in this particular cell. Don't allow it to come down, right? Fix it in that particular cell, right? While we allow this one come down, right? So this is what you call the use of absolute referencing. Absolute referencing. That means you're telling Excel, I don't want this to shift from H and from 5. I want it to remain in H5. So I want you to lock, in this formula, even while everything is changing, I don't want H5 to change. And the way to lock Excel is by putting a $sign. Now, what is H? Is H a column or H? This H here, this H in H5, is H the column or H the row? Anybody? Please, can we unmute? And now we are getting into formulas, the formula time. So I would like us if you can just unmute, if you can, please. It will be better if at least have 1 or 2, 3 people that's unmuting and we can just go together, right? It will make it easier. Thank you so much for those that mute. Thank you so much. So it's column. Yes, please, by all means.
For the discount rate, is it that the price is discounted from the original price of 60?
Yes.
So shouldn't it be less?
Thank you so much. So that means it's my mathematics minus. Sorry, mathematics. Mathematics. So just change this to minus. Sorry. Minus. Thank you so much for drawing my attention to that. So yeah. So we are giving a 10% discount on the price. Now, the issue that we have now is that we want to fix it. I said H represents the column. Most people got it right, and 7 represent the rule. So we can tell Excel that Excel, even as my formula is moving, right? I want to do it in such a way that this H5 does not move at all. So what we do is that we lock both the row and the column. I said Excel, leave this formula, leave this part of the formula in H5. And the way to lock a cell is by putting the $sign in front of both the row and the column. A $sign. Another way to do it is by pressing F4 on your computer, right? So you can either put, for example, this is the formula here. If I press F4 on my computer, right? Some people, you have to press function F4, right? You can see a $sign appears. Look at this area here in front of H and in front of 5, right? So basically, we're telling Excel, don't move from H5. This B7, you can be moving it anyhow you want to move it, right? But this H5 don't allow you to move. Right. So if we lock it this way and we double click it, what we'll notice is that, see now, these two are now aligned. That means that no matter how much we go down, right, Excel is moving the price further down, but the discount is remaining in H5, right? So Excel has noticed that you've told him that although the price is moving further down, the discount should remain the same. Do we understand? The discount should remain in the particular row and the particular column. Do we understand?
Yes, it's clear.
Very clear. Thank you so much. I mean, you guys please unmute. Though. If one person is only talking, the person will get all the benefit. Though.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you
it's
very
clear.
much. Now, same thing for that's absolute referencing, right? Now, same thing for relative referencing, right? So now, assuming case in point, assuming this price, right? This price is the same price. Let's say in January and February, right? We are using the same price and we're using the same discount, right? We're using the same price and the same discount, right? But we want to show the calculation separately. That means in January, this is the price we are using and this discount we are using. In February, this is the price, this is this same price we are using and it's this same discount we are using, right? What formula are we going to write to show what formula go to write to be able to calculate the discounted price for both January and February, right? If we do the same thing we did, equals to price, right, multiplied by 1 minus discount rate, Abi. But we know that our discount rate is constant, Abi. So we now lock our discount rate, right? Both row and column, right? And press enter. If we drag it down, did we get our answer correctly? Yes or no? Everybody? We got the same answer now, right? Correct, right?
Yeah.
But if we copy this formula and take it to February, how come we're getting 0? That means that because February price, February should be the same thing because February is actually taking the same price and taking the same discount, right? But what do we notice here? We notice that, see, because Excel is linear. I told you Excel linear in its thinking. Once we drag the formula to the left, right? Once we drag the formula to the left, Excel also moved everything to the left. It moved everything to the left. That means that it moved the price from here to the next column, right? It moved the column. Although it did not move the discount because we told Excel the discount should not move. So what do we want? What do we want to correct? Anybody? What do we want to correct? What is the issue that we want to correct?
The
I
price.
want to correct Excel from moving the column to the side.
Yes, so that means that we want to lock the price, Abi.
Price.
So
yes.
yes, if we're locking the price, are we locking the row or are we locking the column?
The row, the column.
Are we locking the row? So are we telling Excel? Let me explain. Let me explain. We're locking the row or column. Are we telling Excel? I want even if I move my formula to the left or right and right, remain in the same column or remain in the same row. What are we telling Excel? Do you want Excel to remain in the same row or remain in the same column?
Remain in the same column.
Remain in the same row.
Column.
This the price are they see the price are in the same column. They're not in the same. These are rows. This is row, right? But this is column. The price are in one column. So as in Excel, we want you to, even as I move my column to the left, I want this column to remain the same thing. Okay, let me use this multiplication table to explain. I think these are the best, honestly, the best way to explain it. Now, we all know we know what we want to achieve. So we want in such a way that when we multiply this by this is 1, Abi. We want the way that if that's one formula and we copy it down like this, it should give us our time. Obviously, this is not what we learned in school, right? This is obviously wrong. We know it's wrong. It's not, I mean, this is exceptionally wrong, right? So we want it in such a way is that when we drag it downwards, right? If I drag it downwards, it's wrong, safe. Because what we want is that we want it 1 times 1, 2 times 1, Abi, 3 times 1, 4 times 1, 5 times 1, Abi. That's what we want, right? So this left part of the formula, this D area. Now let's work with this D area. We want it in such a way that it can be going down, right? It can be going down, right? It can be going down. Is it going down or not? Is it going down or not? Guys, can someone just unmute and let's just be bantering together.
Yeah, it's going down.
It's going down, right? But the issue is that although if we want it to go down, we don't want this E62 to be going, this other part of the formula to go down as well. We want this other part to remain constant on this one. That means as we are going down, We don't want this to be coming down. We want it to remain in this highlighted column, right? So that means that we want this D21, we want this one to coming down. That means this D21, we are okay with it. The problem we have is this E20. We want E20 to not move from the roll. That means that we want the E20 to remain on the same roll. Do you understand?
Yes.
Right. And what is roll? Is it E or 20? Is roll E or the roll 20?
20.
20. So what we'll do that we'll put a dollar sign in front of 20. Right. So the way to lock it, I said, is to put a dollar sign in front of what we want to lock. Please, if you don't understand, please can put my attention. So we put a dollar sign in front of.
So why we not put it in front of the E as well, since we want to lock that particular cell?
In totality, okay. So let me take it as you said. We want to lock it totality. So if you drag it down like this, right? Is it correct?
Okay.
It's correct, right? It's correct. That's actually correct. It's not like it's 12 times 1 is 12. It's actually correct. Do you understand? But the issue we have is that now when we now drag it to the next, let's say we now to drag it to 2, we're still getting the same thing. Do you know why? Because it's still referring to 1.
Yes.
Right. So that means that it's
okay. I see.
Yes, so we want it to remain on the same roll, right? On the same roll, and roll is 20, right? So we lock 20. So what we know that if you drag it down like this, we can see that it's correct, right? Now, if you move it to the other side, is this correct?
Yes, because you must find by instead.
It's correct, Charlie. Okay.
Yeah, that's correct.
If you move it to the next one, is it correct?
Sure, yeah.
Sorry, can you come again with how you locked it?
Okay, sorry. I said, yeah, right? We wanted, what we want is that we don't want this, we want to do it in such a way that as anyhow we are moving to the left, right? As I'm moving to the left, right? Or, I mean, as we're moving downwards, sorry, right? I'm moving downwards, right? We don't want this one, we want it to be stuck on this roll, right? We want this formula, this part to be on this roll. We don't want to be moving it with us as we're going down. Right, so we came here, and this second part of the formula, this second part, we said Excel lock 20. That means remain the formula on 20. So no matter how far we go down, let the formula still be referencing 20. No matter how far down we go, let it be referencing 20. So as we're pressing down, as we are copying the formula down, right? I copied it, Ctrl V, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, right? No matter what we are doing, it's still referencing 1. Do you understand? It's referencing the roll, right? It's not moving down with us. That's what we want. Right. So I said that we are not sense checking if this formula is correct. So I said so what I'm doing, one way to copy a formula, right, is by pressing Ctrl R. So let's say I want to copy this formula to the next side. I just highlight the next side and I press Ctrl R, right, and formula copies, right? So I said, is this correct? Is 10 times 2 20? I think it's correct. Right? My mathematics is still correct, it's still good. 10 times 2 is 20. So this is correct. If we move it to this area, however, is this correct? Is 10 times 3 60? Last time I checked, it's not 60, right? So what's the issue? Let's find what the issue is. What we notice is that instead of it staying in this particular line, it's also moving with us. Can you not see? The reason why we not see the issue here is because that this 1, 2, 3 is the same thing as here, right? But when we move somewhere else here, it's also moving to the next column, it's moving with us. Even if the roll is staying in E20, the column is moving. So that means that our formula is wrong. So what you do, we want to write a single formula. We don't want to write multiple formulas. So we go back again to the first one. So we have gotten this part correctly, but we did not get this part correctly. What is the issue with this part of the formula? Anybody?
You have to lock. You still have to lock the column, but not the rows for D21.
Okay. Anybody else? Why do you think Enoma said that we have to lock the columns and not the rows? Are you sure the columns are not? I know. I mean, can't we just lock both of them? Anybody else? it's a trial by error class. We're just trying to just learn, right? And you
If you lock both D and 21, then it only remain on the one, the
Okay.
D21. But if you lock only the column and allow the rows to go down, then the same way it went across, it will also go down for column D.
awesome. So in case you don't understand, well, what she was saying is this. Now, what we want is that we don't want the formula to leave this column, right? That means no matter how much you drag it, we want it to be referencing this particular column here. No matter how much you drag it to the ending, we want it to reference this particular column. No matter how much you drag it down, we want to reference this particular role. So what we'll do is that here is that we also lock this column. We said Excel, I don't want it to leave D. It can go to it. As you drag the formula, it can go to 20, it can go to 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. We are fine with it. But this D, it should not leave D. Right? So we come to D and say, put the dollar sign here and say, Excel, don't allow it to leave D as well. So when we come with this formula, right, and we paste this formula everywhere, will it give us a multiplication timetable? I think it does, because this is 1 and 12 times 12 is 144, right? So that is referencing in a nutshell. We have to move further, right? But we'll still keep on talking about it in every other thing we do, right? The other thing, the only other thing, we will skip this activity because it will take so much of our time. The only other thing is I'll talk about is circular referencing, right? And circular referencing, as the name implies, is not a good thing. It's when you are referencing. It's like the egg and chicken scenario. Does the egg come first or does the chicken come first, right? For example, if this is Treble and Okin biscuits, right? Two products, right? And we did summation of both of them, right? The summation of this and this gave us 1,4, right? But imagine if I now put summation of this plus the sum again, plus let's say B6 again. You notice that you tell me I have a circular reference, right? Because I am referencing everything together. I'm summing two of them plus the sum. Do you understand? It's a circular reference. I'm referencing everything together. And there's an easier way to solve. There's an easy way to solve for circular reference. You go to the formula bar, right? Formula bar. So in case you open a sheet and say, there's circular reference in this sheet, you know that you have cooked beans, right? I mean, cooking beans is a term where it means that you have done rubbish, basically, right? So we come here, and sometimes it can be very hard to know, like where the circular reference for cross stick, as in where is the rotation coming from. So if you come to your formula bar, you come here where you have error checking. Error checking here, right? You come to circular reference, and it tells you where the circular reference is, right? So it tells us telling us circular reference is in B6. So when we come here, we can edit the formula and say, okay, I've seen the error. If we remove this B6 from it, circular reference will disappear. And when you come here, you see there's no more circular reference. Do you understand? So that's the way to quickly audit your sheet, right? To be sure that there's no circular reference anywhere. Like, okay, there's no circular reference everywhere. You're good to go. So with that, we can now begin Excel formulas. Can you see my screen? Can you see my Excel formula screen? Everybody? Can you see my Excel formula screen?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Yes. Okay, so please, we're going fast, and I will give you. I mean, from as we're going, we'll be having exercises, right? So I'll give you exercises, right? So I would like us to, if at this point you can omit your mic, it will be so perfect, it will be really perfect, right? Because we make class more engaging. Right. Obviously, we cannot cover everything, right? Just as I said. So what will happen is that I think earlier I shared my I shared that, I mean, what I have currently, I have about 204 Excel functions, right, that I can teach, right? And what I will do is that from time to time, from the end of the end of this month to early next month, on my YouTube channel, I'm going to be releasing short videos on these various Excel functions, right? How to go about each of them one by one, right? So if you subscribe, I'll put the link somewhere before we end this training, right? So you can subscribe and you'll be first to know when they come out, right? But for now, we'll just talk about the regular ones, or the ones that will be commonly used by professionals. And we'll start with the sum function. And I'll finally end by talking about ChatGPT and Excel, right? I mean, please, I mean, you really love to understand how to. It just makes your work easier. You don't have to listen to all these many things I'm saying. If you just know how to leverage those two. Sorry, my system is misbehaving. Let me see if it work now. Okay, yes. Right. And if time allows, I think I will just run through mail merge. It's also a very beautiful thing, right? And power of Microsoft Offices, right? I mean, I'm merging Microsoft Word and Microsoft PowerPoint together. I'm telling you, it saved me about 3 days of work, right? In less than 5 minutes. It is amazing, right? And sometime during the year, I'm also going to be teaching a Microsoft VBA course, right? I mean, over the past 1 year, I've dedicated my time to learn that, right? And that is also very amazing. When that time comes, I hope I will also see you in the class. So we start with sum function, right? Sum function is very simple, right? So, but I mean, as I said, there are 1,000,001 ways to do 1,000,001 things, right? To sum, right? You can either do, let's say we have let's say we have budget of 3 ministries, right? Ministry of Education, Health, and Defense, right? And we're meant to do we don't want to just consolidate the budget, right? So basically, what we want to do is just sum. It's very simple, right? There are different ways. First way you can just do it is to do manually. This, I want to sum this plus this plus this is very, very long. Trust me. Plus this, right? It gives us this, right? I taught you that there's a shortcut to copy formula from the left to the right. What is it, anybody? I mentioned it in the last. Listen, what is shortcut to copy formula from left to right?
Control.
Control R. Yep. So I press Control R and automatically, voila. You can see I did it, right? There's a second way to do it. The second way to do it is that highlighting all these cells that I want to I can highlight all the active cells here, these ones here, right? And if I press Alt equals to Alt and equals to Alt equals to, voila, it did the same thing, right? So I would like you guys to do number 2, number 3, and number 4. When you're done, say done. I have a prize for the person that's done. That's first done. So the same way I've done for number 1, I want to do for number 2, for number 3, and for number 4. For number 4, you're consolidating the totals of the 3 budgets. Let's go quickly. Let's go. Let's go. Is anybody done yet? If you're done, just say done. Anybody done? Anybody done? Nobody's done. Please, can you unmute your mic and just say, I'm working on it, I'm there, I'm driving. You got anybody done?
Working on it.
Okay, let's
Working
go.
on it.
Let's go. I'll let you working on it. I'll give soft music for us to do it. It's very simple, right? I've heard some people's voice on this call. Ajayi, Azik, I don't think I've heard Ayomide Olushola. I'm sorry, I'm actually not even looking at the difference. I'm looking at it at the moment. Comfort, Esther, Eniola Olowa, Esther Maho. I've heard some people's voices. Done. One person is done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spoken before, but I'm trying to access the file. That's what has been keeping me mute since. So my system is malfunctioning.
Oh, I see. What file are you trying to access now? This one we're working on.
The Excel file. I'm trying to. I'm even finding difficulty open either of them because I'm using my phone for the Zoom call and trying to use my system for classes.
Oh, okay. So just open. What is the issue it's giving you?
My system itself is just, I don't know, it's booting and all of that. So
Okay, if you can private chat me your email address, I'll just send to you. I'll just send the file directly to you. So you just open it from there. Yeah, if it's better.
Thank you. I'll just do that right away.
Okay. So who else is done? Only one person said they are done.
Done.
Okay, one person is done. Okay, Faith is done. Faith, is that Faith from last class? Sorry, or this is a new Faith?
Same Faith.
Okay, same Faith. Sorry, I mean I knew you were very active last time. That's why. Faith from last class. Any other person? I'm still waiting for your email address, so could just forward that to you. Okay. Yep. Got in your email address, and why is not allowing me to copy it? Okay, I cannot copy it. I have to type it. Yep.
And okay, I'm able to access the voice password yet.
Yes. Which one? Which one?
I think that's the formula.
So I will just sorry, I'm just going to copy the password on the group. I mean, in the chat room. Okay. So just use that. Now, okay. So moving forward, right? So it's pretty basic, right? So basically, we just come here and press Alt equals 2, and we have it summed. For defense, we come highlight everything, press Alt equals 2, we have it summed. For the consolidated budget, all we do is that we go to education. So basically, we want to consolidate the totals, right? So click on equals to and the totals for education. Highlight it. Click on equals to for health, totals for health, highlight it. For defense, same thing, equals to total for defense, highlight it. Then we can click on these three of them, move to the left and press Ctrl R, right? And we can, same thing for the totals, so come here and press Alt equals to, voila. And it's as simple as that, right? For this, right, imagine we want to find the sum per ministry. We also want to find the sum per quarter for all the ministries, right? The sum per, sorry?
I tried the alt equals to, but it didn't work. Am I not doing it properly?
For which one?
For all of them, it didn't work. Can I see how you do it again, please?
So you just click on highlight the cells and alt equals to. That's all. Highlight the cells, alt equals to, or you can even highlight with the numbers here, alt equals to. Right. That's how it works. So for this, right, we want to highlight horizontally and vertically at the same time, right? Horizontally at the same time. And the easiest way to do it is the same way. Highlight everything that is here, and if I press one key, alt equals to, we summed it. Excel knows that, yeah, the guy want to sum left, I want to sum right. One step, I mean, you want to sum row wise and column wise, right? So with a single click of the button, highlighting everything here, and alt equals to, everything gets summed, right? And I have my totals. That is as simple as that. I think that's very simple. Do you understand? You understand? I believe we do. Okay. So moving on, let's go to sum if. Now, sum ifs, right? Sum if. Now, so imagine we have these people in the class from different countries, different genders, and their different scores, right? So imagine I say, okay, I want you to sum the total scores, right? Sum the total scores of everybody that are Nigerians, right? Total score of everybody that are Nigerians. So what we use is the sum if function. So I'm going to explain if, right? But let me explain sum if first, right? Because it's pretty simple, right? So equals to sum if, right? So Excel has syntax that shows how to work with formulas, right? So Excel makes it easy, right? So sum if. So if you notice, we have sum if. If we can sum if, or you can click your tab key, it gives us that there are three things that we need to do to use this formula. We need the range, we need the criteria, and we need the sum range. We need the range, we need the criteria, and the sum range. Those three things. If you can get the range, criteria, and sum range, we'll be able to sum if some particular criteria, right? For example, we want to sum everything, everybody that has a score in maths that are Nigerians, right? So it's asking us what's the range. Now the range is for the criteria. So basically, it's asking us where can I see the thing you're looking for, right? And this is where it is here in the country. So I highlight this country range here. right? So I said Excel, this country range, right? Okay, say okay, no problem. I get you. Then Excel is saying, if I'm done with the range, press comma. I press comma. You can see now the range is no more bolding. Criteria is bolding. In that case, so in this range, what should I look for? I said look for Nigeria. Nigeria is here, right? So look for Nigeria. He said, okay. I thought you're doing okay. Then comma. Now, what is the summary? That means okay. So when I look at this range, I find Nigeria, right? Where do you want me to sum? I want you to sum their scores in mathematics. So this is the sum range. So in this range, look for Nigeria. When you find Nigeria, go to this place and look for their scores in mathematics and sum them together, right? And I press enter and give me 148, right? And if I do manually, the people that have Nigeria are Layi, Wasabi, and David Bonner and Tude Ednut. 3 of them give you 148, right? So basically, we have just told Excel, give me the scores of all Nigerians, the sum of all the scores of Nigerians that did mathematics. Do you understand? Is it simple enough? Anybody? Is it simple enough? So you guys give me
You can go over what you did in criteria just now.
criteria. So I said equals
Yes,
to sum if, right? The range is this. This is the range. This is the range. This is where our criteria is, right? What is the criteria? The criteria is Nigeria. Sorry, let me come here. Let me make it bold like this. So I mean, equals to sum if the range. We said this is the range, right? The range is everything here, right? So in asking us, what's the criteria? The criteria is Nigeria. We have the criteria here already. I wrote in Nigeria here already. Nigeria, right? Comma. What is the sum range? That means what do you want me to sum? I want you to sum the scores in maths for every Nigerian, right? And I press enter, and they give me 148. So I want you guys to do the same thing for Ireland. What would be the answer? Ireland. What would be
243.
243.
awesome. Anybody has an issue?
I do actually. It was. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, please.
So I realized that you put control, that's C23. I'm trying to like relate it with what's on my screen right now and how you resolved to it.
No, 623 is where Nigeria is. So it's asking us, you can see it is range. So the range is here. So basically the syntax is what am Excel asking you, what am I looking for? Where's the range of what I'm looking for? Say Excel, this is the range of what you're looking for here. And I said in this range, what should I look for? And what telling Excel look for Nigeria, right? So the criteria is Nigeria. Right, so I just highlighted Nigeria here because I have Nigeria written here, right?
Yeah.
Then comma, what is the sum range? So what so when I find Nigeria in this range, what is the corresponding range I'm going to sum? And now to show the Excel and say, bam, this is your answer. Do you understand? Right. So now, what is wrong with this formula? Is this formula good enough for me to drag to the left? Is this formula good enough for me to drag to the left? Obviously not, right? What is the issue with the formula? Remember, I said the formula you write should be able to universal. That means if I want to do for Ireland, I should not have to write another formula. I should just be able to just copy this formula here and copy it across board, and it should give me the exact same thing I need. Right? What's the issue with the formula, anybody? That's not making me to drag down. I will not waste so much time on this because well, I mean, referencing is like the brain of Excel. That's what it,
Ireland, I think that's why.
because what, sorry?
I said the reference is Ireland, sorry, Nigeria, so
I will
that's
know.
why.
No, okay, no. So
Yeah.
if even for mathematics, right? Even for maths, right? Even for Nigeria alone, if I drag this to the right by using Ctrl R, it's telling me that Nigerians scored 0 in mathematics. Is it possible? Nigerians are no book. Nigeria knows book now. right? You cannot cause zero in mathematics. I mean, in biology and history, right? This issue, can you see the issue here? Can you see the issue by just highlighting the formula? Can you see the issue?
It shifted.
Yes, because we are meant to reference it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you understand? So let's do the formula again, right? So equals to sum if. Now, what is the range? This is the range, right? Will this range ever change? Will the range ever change? Yes or no? For anything, the range will never change. This is the country we're looking for.
No,
Right?
no, it
So
won't.
if I use Control F4 or function F4, right? Or F4, I can lock the range. That means the range is not changing, right? Comma Nigeria, right? Nigeria is in C23, right? Will Nigeria change? Will Nigeria change? Will Nigeria change?
No, Nigeria is not changing.
What if I put it down? Nigeria will change to Nigeria made to change to Ireland. If I drag it down, Nigeria made to change to Ireland. Cannot see Ireland on that.
Yes,
So
sure.
will Nigeria change? Yes or no? Nigeria will change. But
Yes.
Nigeria will not change
Yeah.
role wise. It will only change column wise, right?
Yeah.
Nigeria will not
Column-wise,
change
yeah,
row
yeah.
wise. Nigeria can go from Nigeria to Ireland to if I write anything. But we don't want Nigeria to change this way. It should be role wise. It should be Nigeria. But column wise, it can change. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Everybody. So that means that we want to lock the role. We don't want Nigeria to change role wise, but can change column wise. So we put a dollar sign in front of the role. Is row C or 23? Is row C or 23?
Row C.
Is row C or 23?
23.
Don't forget
Rows.
rows.
Row-
Look at me. Row. Your both rows are numbers.
Row 23. Row 23. Column C.
Right. So I put my column sign and my dollar sign. I don't know why they're putting dollar sign. I don't know why Excel use dollar sign. Excel could not use naira or euros or pound, but it's all right. There's no beef.
Naira does not have value.
Nah, it is well. Cover. And what is the range? Right? The range is mathematics here. Now, will the range change? Yes or no?
It will change.
Yes, it will. Yes.
Will the change be row wise or column wise?
Column-wise.
Both types.
Sorry, is it
Both.
both? Are you sure it's both? So if you're saying if you change column wise, that means that it can move from this column to history column to biology column. If you're saying it will change role wise, that means that now it is C5 to C17. That means it can go to C6 to C18. So ask question again. Will it change column wise or row wise or both? Nobody's answering me again.
Only math.
What's it?
Is it for
Column-wise now.
math?
Column-wise.
It's change column wise. No,
Yeah.
it's not for only math. We want to write the formula in such a way that no matter the kind of thing we do, so even though we have more subjects, all we have to just be dragging it. Right. So it will not change.
The only thing.
Yes, it will not change row wise, it will only change column wise. And column is column E or is column letter or number? Column letter. Perfect. Now, now you understand why I said the basics is very important, because if you don't know what that column is row or is number, you can just you can frustrate you if you are working with more complex things. So I will put my dollar sign in front of my E, right? In front of my E, right? On both sides, in front of my E. And I press enter, right? So now if I copy this formula and I drag it down, even put it everywhere, right? It's not giving me my correct answer. Okay, my Nigeria. That lock my Nigeria. Here. Okay, my Nigeria is not locked. My criteria is not locked properly. My criteria C23. I was meant to lock what? I was meant to lock sorry. I was meant to lock the column. I locked the row. That was my error. Apologies. And yep, you can see that's
It's the same figure across. Should it be that? I think that's what as well.
Sorry. Now Excel is, what is the issue? What is the issue? What's the issue? Sorry.
Column is
We
not-
locked. Sorry. We locked. So we locked the issue that we had is that for this, right, for the sum range, right? So we want it to be able to move across column, but not across rows, right? So we're meant to lock the what rows, but what we do was that we lock the columns. So we're meant to lock the rows, not the columns. So we want it to be flexible along the columns. That means it can move from E to F to G, but we don't want the number to move. So it can move from G. I mean, it's in E now. So if it goes to F, it can move to F. It can go to G, but it should always be G5. It will always be 5 to 17, 5 to 17, right? So if you copy it and we paste it, yep, we can see that it moves. So formatting is very important in Excel, right? Anybody can miss it. It's very, very important, right? So whenever you're writing your formula, always make sure that you consider the formatting implication of it, right? Going forward, I will not be talking about formatting again. Sorry, referencing again, because we're out of time. Please permit me, we'll end exactly 12:30. I'm going to just take extra 10 minutes of time so we can cover up some more things. We have a lot of things to cover here, right? So we can cover up more things. We're moving very, very fast. Are we together? Is that a deal? I will come to if, right? I'll come to if is very a very important formula. But before we get to that, let's just go to some easier ones quickly. Then go to VLOOKUP, if, and this thing. So let's go to go seek first. Go seek. Let's go to go seek. Yeah. So we'll go to VLOOKUP, pivot tables. We'll look up with the last semi-last thing we'll do. Right. So let's go to go seek. Right. I want to cover some more functions. Go seek, round, trim, lane, then go to VLOOKUP. And data tables as actually. Okay. Oh, okay. Let's do go seek first, then data tables, trim, lane, VLOOKUP, if, and we close. So guys are ready. Then chat GPT actually. Let's go. Now, for go seek, right? Let's say we have this, right? So we have revenue and we have costs and give us gross profits, right? Then we have the salaries of these people, and we have salary to revenue. Salary to revenue is just basically total salary over revenue. That's basically what we want to do. Now, go seek helps us to interpolate figures, right? Or say it's used for what if analysis. So for example, imagine they gave you a tax and say you have, oof, my Excel is misbehaving again. Minutes, sorry, we'll work this time now. Okay, it's not still working. Yeah. Now imagine they give you this data and they say, please, what will the revenue be? Right? I mean, I want my gross margin. It 155 is too small. I want my gross margin to be 250, right? But and for me to achieve my gross margin, right, I want to know what my revenue will have to be for my gross margin to be 250, right? So if I ask you a question, what does revenue have to be for gross margin to be 250, right? Someone when I start doing mathematics, this does this, like, but Excel does this for you using what you call goal seek. So what I want to do that we have a goal, right? I want to seek what a particular variable will be for us to achieve a particular variable. Let me show you. So we go to data tab, right? Everybody go to data tab. Then under forecast here, right, you see what if analysis. What if analysis. Under forecast, see what if analysis. If you click on the drop down, we will see go seek. Go seek. If you click on go seek, right? So basically, what Excel is telling us, Excel always gives a syntax. It's always very helpful. So Excel is asking us, we want to set a particular cell to a particular value by changing a particular thing. That's all. We want to set a particular cell to a particular value by changing a particular thing. So for us here, we want to set the cell. We want to set this cell, gross margin cell, right? I want to make this gross margin 250, right? And we want to do this by changing revenue. So Excel, we want to change this particular cell to this by changing this, and we press OK. And Excel does the mathematics, right? Okay. So Excel has changed gross revenue to 250 by change, and he has changed revenue to 5,905. I've undone it, right? Do you understand? It's very simple. So I mean, let me ask if you understand. Let me give you something similar.
Please, can you go over it again, please?
So we wanted to change gross margin to 250. So we came to what of analysis under data tab. Click on Go Seek. We wanted to change. So Excel asks us, we want to set what value? We want to set this value to 250. To what value? We want to set to 250, right? By changing what? By changing revenue, right? And we clicked on OK. And Excel does the magic, and automatically Excel has changed revenue from 500 to 595, and now we have gross margin of 250. Now let me give you this same tax. Now, assuming we want to change this salary to revenue, we want to change salary to revenue to 21% by changing Onyeka salary. What will Onyeka salary be? Everybody, let's try. We want to change salary to revenue to 21% by changing Onyeka salary. What will Onyeka new salary be? Let's try. Let's try.
69.95.
Somebody says 69.95. Okay, another person. What will Onyeka salary be?
69.95.
2 people. I'd like to get five people to collaborate it. Please, if you do yourself a great service if you are not asking questions or you're not following, and you see you don't wait up and say, see, I don't understand, right?
Can you ask this question again? What would what be?
What will Onyeka salary be? What will Onyeka's salary be?
If what?
If I mean, to achieve a salary to revenue ratio of 21%.
Okay.
Busayo, I've not heard your voice. Comfort, I've not heard your voice. Eniola, I hope you are now with your laptop. I mean, you're now with us. Esther, I've not heard the voice. Olamide, Miriamo, Olarire, Papi. I think I've heard Nyechi's voice. Precious.
I just spoke. This Papi.
Okay. Oh, so sorry. Papi. Okay, so
9.45.
okay, so I think I'll just work with the people that are responding. So we want to change this, right, to 21%, 21% by changing the salaries of Onyeka, right? Click on OK, and yes, 69.95, right? That is basic, right? So we move on. Let's go to data tables, right? Just touch on some easy ones before we go to the basic ones, the main ones, right? So now we have, imagine we have the access to do a what analysis, right? So we have your final, okay, let's say there's a loan of 10 million, right? There's a loan, simple interest, right? There's a loan of 10 million, or I'm sorry, 1,000, right? Let's say $1,000, and he has an interest rate of 10%, and it meant to last for 5 years, right? When at the end of the day, what you will pay using this formula is 1,611, right? Now, we now want to do different scenarios. Imagine you say, okay, give us different scenarios, right? What will we pay? Imagine if our interest rate is 11%, right? This will change dramatically, right? Or 12%, or 13%, right? We have different possibilities, or maybe what will be our or what are we going to get? Imagine you're investing, let's say you're investing in a business, agri-tech, for example, and say, okay, you make 10% in five years, for example, right? So at the end of 5 years, what you get is 1,611, right? So you want to say, what if it's 2 years ago? If it's 1 year, if if for only 1 year or 5 years or for 8 years, that kind of thing, right? So we don't see different possibilities, right? The simplest way to do it is by using a data table. And see, a data table is very simple. What you will do is that so what I've done is that on the vertical, right, I've basically put different kind of interest rates. So that's 10%, 11%, 12%, 30%. And for horizontal wise, I've put different sorry, I put different time limits. So the first thing you do that you will align. So we've already calculated what it is, right? These are what it is, right? Based on the current stance. So what we do that we link this cell to the calculated cell, right? So the first thing we do is we link the first cell to the calculated cell, right? We link the first cell to calculated cell. The next thing we do is that we go to the go to analysis, right? So on that data, we go to what if analysis, sorry. On that data, go to what if analysis and click on data tables. On that data tab, we go to what if analysis and click on data tables, right? So basically it's telling us what is the row input, what is column input. So actually saying that I want to help you and calculate different possibilities, right? But this rule, right, where is the row input coming from, right? So where should I be changing this 10%, 11%, 12%, 13%? We say Excel, the row input is here. This is where you be changing it. 10%, 11%, change from here. So Excel say, okay. What of column, right? That is this area here, right? Where should I go and be changing this? So from 5 to 2 to 3 to something. We say Excel, come to this part here. This is where you be changing the different column, right? And click on OK, right? Okay. We want to, sorry, the first thing we do, the first error I did was that I did not highlight the table. My bad, right? Go back again, do it again. So we tell Excel the row input is this, the column input is the other, this, and we click on OK, right? And Excel automatically calculates the various possibilities. So if it's 30% in 2 years, 30% in 3 years, it automatically calculates it for us. Simple, right? So these are different kind of functions that can be help you for forecasting purposes, what if analysis, basically, right? I hope you're able to use it in your day-to-day work. Next, I want to talk about the concatenate, right? Concatenate. Now, the first thing I will talk about in concatenate is that, or ampersand, right? Is that Excel, I said, Excel does not know how to read a form, text. So if you want to write a text in Excel, the text must be put in double quotation mark. Excel doesn't know how to read text. For Excel to read text, you must put it in double quotation marks, right? So, for example, okay, I wish we did if, but I'm a bit too fast. Oh, I'm really sorry. I'm trying to beat time, so I'll go slowly, right? So for Excel, if you want to type a text in a Excel formula, the text has to be in double quotation marks. Now, what we want to do is that, imagine they gave us this. We have the first name and the surname, but we want to merge it together as a full name. Right? What we can do, there are two ways. The first way is to use the concatenate function. So, no, sorry, there are not two ways. There are multiple ways. But I will just run through two ways. The first way is to use concatenate function. So equals to concatenate. Sorry, concatenate, right? Concatenate. So actually, what are the two functions you want to concatenate? This is the first one, text 1, comma. What is text 2 you want to concatenate? This text 2 want to concatenate, and I press enter, and it merge it together. But the thing is that this thing does not make sense. I want it to be Tenny space Makanaki. I don't want it to be Tenny Makanaki together. I want it to be Tenny space Makanaki, as opposed to Tenny Makanaki as one single thread. So I want it to be Tenny, comma, space, comma, Makanaki. So I go back to my formula and I say Tenny, comma, space, comma, Makanaki. Let's see if this will give me my answer. I press enter. right? It does not still give me answer because Excel only works with numbers and reference, right? Reference cell, right? So for Excel to see this space, right? For Excel to see space or symbol, it must be in, or text, it must be in double quotation, right? So if I want Excel to see this space, I put a double quotation, right? So I put a quotation space, a double quotation, right? So Excel is now seeing this, right? If I now press enter, you see the dispute between Tenny and Makanaki, because for me to put a symbol or a space, I'm gonna put it in inverted, two inverted commas, right? Two inverted commas, right? So we have Tenny Makanaki, and if I just drag it down, everything aligns for me, right? There's also another way, right? The other way is the ampersand, right? So I can just do equals to Tenny and the ampersand sign. That's the and sign, ampersand sign. Tenny and I want space, so I put double quotation space and Makanaki. Enter. Right. It gives me the same. It gives me the same value. Right. I can also do Tenny Makanaki. Alright. I mean, I wrote it and I just press Ctrl E and it does it by itself. Right. What I did there was just write Tenny space. I mean, I literally just did the first one and I just press Ctrl E, right? So I said in Excel there are a million and one ways to do a million and one things, right? Moving very, very fast, right? Let's go to lane, right? So now imagine you are given a data with, like, so for example, this is John Howard. These are names. Like you can see, there are spaces in between or before the names. It's just messed up. It's just like, God, how do I start this data, right? Because it's data correct, but like for example, there's so much space before Stefan, right? There's so much space, right? How do we trim it? How do we remove space? It's by using the trim function, right? So for example, if I want to trim the names here, I come here and I put equals to trim. And so the syntax for trim is just the text, right? So trim, Excel saying what text you want to trim. And I say Excel is this name I want to trim, John Howard, and I click on enter, right? And if I copy this downwards, you can see Excel has trimmed everything, right? The same thing for the company, right? So if I want to trim the company, I put equals to trim, right? And the text, the company is Tesla, right? And if I drag it down as well, it trims everything. So it moves all the unnecessary space in front or the back or anywhere, right? And let me tell you, this is very, very valuable. It is extremely, I mean, we say trim doesn't make sense. This is unnecessary formula. Let me tell you how it makes sense. So sometimes you can be okay, for example, let's say you have a large data set, right? And in the data set, there's a number called 300, right? So let's say I put a lot of space before, after, right? Or there's a name called Onyeka. Space, 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 space. Like this, right? Now, when the next thing we'll do is VLOOKUP, right? And you understand that if you're looking up, if you're looking up this Onyeka in Excel, right, using VLOOKUP, it will not see it because there's so much space. So sometimes you can be looking for a value. The reason why you not see is because there's so much space. The easier way to do it is just to trim the value. You trim all your document, but that is all there is to trim, right? But it's very important tool. Next thing I will do is that I'll teach us lane, right? Then we'll go to VLOOKUP, right? I'm trying to go to the easier functions so we can easily work it out. Now, I'm going to do this too. As we learned in school, the teacher will do the simple example and will give the student the complex ones. So I will do this first two, and I'll give you this last one for you to try in the next 2 minutes or 1 minute. So now trimming, I mean learn, right? Learn. Just don't look at this complex okay, let me just leave it for you. Let me leave it for you in case you want to you want to use it. So what does len do, right? Len counts. So if it equals to len of this, sorry, equals to len. So you see the syntax. What does len do? Equals to len. Sorry, len returns the number of characters in the text string. So it will tell you how many characters are in this string. So equals to len this, right? It tells me there are 10 characters in this string. So 10 characters including space. So if you count it, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, space is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So len helps count the number of characters, not text now. It helps count the number of characters in a text string. It helps count the number of characters in a text string. Now, let me do left and right, and I will not combine two functions together, because sometimes you might not appreciate the value of len formula until it's merged with something else. Then you say, wow, this formula is actually powerful. Let me teach you left and right, then we'll not combine these two formulas together. Now, imagine we have left, right? Left basically, left returns a specified number of characters from a string. So, for example, if I say left of, let's say, this value, text, comma 2. Basically, it goes to the left and gives me the first two values. If I say left 6, for example, it goes to left of this, comma 6. It gives me the first 6 values. The same thing for right? It's just the opposite. It goes to the right and gives you the value you specify. It's as simple as that, right? It goes to the right and gives the value you specify. Now, imagine I ask you, right? Imagine, let me. Okay. Now, imagine I ask you to write me a formula that will give me mouse. I mean, I want to be able to strip off the mouse, right? I want to see only the numbers, right? In everything. I want to see only the numbers in everything. What formula are you going to use? I want to see only the numbers. What formula are we going to use? Anybody? I want to see only the numbers. Anybody?
For D5, you can use left D5 and then 4. That will give you only the number, but I don't think that will go across.
Left B5, comma 4, right? Yeah, correct. It's correct.
It
Yes,
won't work for 7 though.
but not for 7.
Yeah.
Right? And I said that the family rule in writing a formula is that the formula you write in the first one, if you're doing if everything is the same thing you're doing, the formula should be the same thing that you can just drag down. Because what will happen is that some men will not come here and say, no, this one is 7, right? I mean, it may look like you are smart, yeah, you're wise, right? But it will not make sense when you only have like 1,000, 2,000 records and you're doing the same thing. Now looking for which one has more values. Now it's so not necessary. So this is where we will now use this where this is where you now use len and left together. So let me explain. So len counts the amount of characters, right? So equals to len this, right? It counts the amount of characters. So we know that for everything here there are 10 characters, right? But this is 12 characters, right? So what we want is that we want everything before space, right? We want everything before space. Are we together? Can somebody unmute the mic at this point and let's talk together? We have about 12 minutes to go, so let's just together.
Yes.
Right. So we want to get everything before space. I mean everything before space. So we know the numbers are. We want to get everything before the first space, right? So if you count, we want to get everything minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you want everything minus the last 6 characters. Everything minus the last 6 characters. Right. So basically, we can do left of this, right? And the number of characters, if we say 4, right? If we say 4, it will not work because it will not work for this last one. We want everything minus the last 6 characters, right? Minus the last characters. So instead of writing 4, right, we say, give me, it's the number, the number we want is len, watch me, len of this, minus 6. Who understand why I'm putting minus 6 there?
Yeah, because mouse is 6.
Mouse is 5, then there's space, that's 6.
It's space rather, yeah.
Right. So that means that for everything, right? But in Excel, left, normally we just do left of this, right? Then give it the number of characters we want, 4. But now we don't know the number of characters because number of characters can change. So we're saying that Excel, what we are doing that instead of giving me this 10, instead of giving me this 4, right? What I want is that count the total number of characters, right? But remove this first 6. So what we now do equals to len minus 6. So if we use this formula and we drag it down, we can see that we will always have the numbers, right? So that's how powerful Excel is. Excel is very simple. What makes it complex is now the combination of formulas, knowing, okay, in this situation, I will use left and this, because some people might not know, how will I know I'm going to use this formula? How am I going to use this formula? With practice, right, it becomes obvious, right? Let's go to VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP. Please, in case you have any issues, please call me.
Suspected.
VLOOKUP. Now, please pay attention very carefully, because this is it's like one of the easiest thing, very easy, right? I will do pivot table, ChatGPT, and I will run through mail merge. I will not teach it. I will run through it. It's 2 different things, right? But I think the last day, that's the last Saturday, I'm going to take all the functions I have not taken in the previous class. I'm going to spend some time on those ones, right? So please just follow me. Now, imagine you have a last set of data like this, right? So we have this data, right? And okay, no, let me use the activity. Share the activity for it. No, share the activity for it. Okay, let me use the activity for it. Now, no, let me teach from the basic VLOOKUP. It makes it easier. You do the complex one in the activity. So now we have this student, right? Now we want to use VLOOKUP, right? Now I said there are multiple ways to do multiple things, right? What you see is XLOOKUP, but don't mind me. I'll just trying different things. Now we want to find what country Tiwa Jazzy is from this table. What country is Tiwa Jazzy from this table, right? And what we can do is a VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP means vertical lookup. It helps you get a particular value from a range of values. You might not appreciate it here, but I will do one example here and I will do the rest in the activity. In the activity, you really appreciate it, right? So we use VLOOKUP when we want to look up the leftmost column of a table. Look how I said. It said it looks up the leftmost column of a table and returns a value in the same line or row. Basically, if I'm looking for something, let's say I'm looking for Tiwa Savage from this table, right? It said you only look for something from the left side column of the table. So that means that if I want to do a VLOOKUP, right? Lookup, right? I must make sure that what I'm looking up for, right? This lookup value, what I'm looking up for is at the left side of this table, is at the leftmost side of this table. So that means that I cannot look for Ireland because Ireland is not the most left side of this table. I can only look for this column here in students, right? So let's say I'm looking for Tiwa Jazzy, right? Please just follow me. Look at the syntax, right? Lookup value. That means asking us what are we looking up for? What we're looking up for is Tiwa, right? Comma. What is the table array? That means show me the table that you're looking for Tiwa in. This is the table here. I can come here, comma, right? Sorry. table array, right? So this is table array. This everything here is table. So I highlight the table, right? And I press comma, right? So after Excel, that's the table I'm looking for. It's Excel say okay, fine, right? So now Excel saying that when I go to the table, what column index number should I look for? That means that if I go to this table, right, there are different column, right? This is column 1, column 2. Sorry, let me just write it here. Sorry, let me write for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right. So there are 6 columns in this thing. Do we agree? There are 6 columns here. Right. I'll start again. So equals to VLOOKUP. Lookup value is Tiwa Jazzy, comma, right? Lookup value is Tiwa Sabi, comma. The table array, this is the table we are looking at. This is table array, comma, right? Column index. So it's not telling us that what column, when I get to this column, what column should I look at? Now we want to find out Tiwa Savage country, Abi, right? So we come here. What column is country? Country is 2, right? So we put 2, comma. Now it's saying that do we want exact match or do we want approximate match? That means that it's saying us that when I look at this value, I'm looking for Tiwa Savage. If I don't see Tiwa Savage, if I see Tiwa Bentley, should I still, should I use my common sense basically and say, okay, Isha Tiwa and give it the same value? Or should I look for exactly Tiwa Jazzy? Exactly Tiwa Jazzy. Most of the times we use exact match because we know what we're looking for. So we say we want exact match, right? And we click on, we close the bracket, enter. It shows us that Tiwa Savage is from Italy. And if you come here, you can check she's from Italy. The same thing for, there are obviously issues with referencing, but I'm not touching that now. Same thing for Emma Stones, right? Emma Stones, right? We did the same thing. It's equals to VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP value is Emma Stones, comma, table array. This is the table array, right? This table array. Yeah, right. Comma. We're looking for country. Country is in column 2. So put 2. And we want what? Exact match, right? Exact match. Enter. Island, right? Similar, right? But you will notice something that will shock you here. If we do something, if we do something for Onyeka, right? Onyeka, comma. The table is what? This is the table, right? We highlight the table, comma. Column index is country, right? 2, we need 2, right? 2, comma. We want the exact match, right? Exact match, Onyeka, because Onyeka is somewhere here. That's Onyeka. Right. Why are we getting an error? It's not giving. But Onyeka is here now. Onyeka is here. Onyeka, I can show Onyeka here. But how come I'm getting an error here?
Probably there is space in this Oyenka Aguye.
Perfect. That is it, right? I purposely put a space here to show you the power of C. So this Onyeka space is Onyeka Ogu, and there's a space here. If you notice, yeah, it's just Onyeka Ogu. If you come here, it's just Onyeka Ogu. So you can see the power of trim. You may say trim is a useless function, but if you come here, so me most times before I trim my VLOOKUP and anything, I always make sure that I trim the values. I trim the values to ensure that there's no unnecessary. I trim values both ways. But now, as I've trimmed the value, you can see that the error has been cleared. And I can see Onyeka is from Ghana, obviously not. But like you can see the error has been cleared, right?
What function did you use to trim just now?
Equals to trim. We
just equals
did
to trim.
earlier. Yes, we did earlier. Equals to trim. That's how the formula the function we did earlier, right? So I'm just showing that those seemingly useless functions are very important, are super important. So now, right? I don't know if you have time to do a classwork. Okay, yes, we'll do a classwork. I will ensure we do one activity. I'll show do one activity. Let me see which other function can I sharply do. Function can I sharply do? Okay. So sorry, let's go to ChatGPT, right? So I'm taking that because sorry, I was saying the game about 10 minutes again. Please just bear with me. I'm really thankful that you're giving me a chunk of your Saturday, 2 hours, 30 minutes at the moment of a Saturday. Thank you so much. Let's just do this do this ChatGPT stuff. Please, I'm trying to share my full screen. Okay, no, not my full screen. When you can see my, okay, sorry. Can you see my other screen at the moment? Can you see my other screen at the moment? Can you see like a dark?
Yeah, ChatGPT.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, now another one thing you should know that so there are times where you have things that so like I told you there are 200 and something functions. I mean, well over 200 and something functions. I personally I know about 204, right? But I know that there are, I mean, and I think I know more than 204. I think I know 250 my last count, right? There are lots. There's no how you can know everything. There's no how you can know everything because there are some functions you will not use, and if you not use it, you will not need it. Do you understand, right? Is practice that make perfect, right? So if you're not using it, you might not use it. So that's why when you be faced with in situations, for example, this is if this, okay, for example, let's say you're given this tax, right? And it says that anybody that meets anybody that meets the deadline and is polite, right? I want you to put let's talk. I mean, have a talk. If it's no, right? No, I want you to put all good. I mean, it has to be yes for it to be have a talk. If it's not yes, give me all good, right? If it's yes, I want to have a talk. If it's anything else, let it be all good, right? Imagine they give you that tax, and so anybody that knows Excel will know that the function you will use there is if, right? But you don't know it, right? You don't know it because Monica did not teach you. You've not learned it anywhere, right? Or you have this issue, like, okay, how will I do this thing? One way to do it, right, is to utilize ChatGPT, right? So, for example, what you have to do with ChatGPT is you tell it the exact thing you want to do, right? Exactly what to do. It can even help you with referencing, right? All the English I'm talking about, it can help you in case you have that issue. Just put you as clear as possible. So, for example, now we won't tell ChatGPT if both values, if I'm telling an example, write a formula. If both values in C6 and D6 are no, then have a talk. Otherwise, put all good. What Excel formula can I use? So I copy it here and I come to ChatGPT and I paste that, right? And I send ChatGPT. ChatGPT will help my life, right? It says, oh, this is what you can use. Even that explains to me how to do it. So let me see if ChatGPT is correct. I copy the formula. I come here and I put it here. Enter. Oh, wow, all good. I have a talk. Perfect. He did this for me, right? He even use if and and. And Onyeka did not, I mean, I'll meant to teach you, but I have not taught you, right? If and. And you use two of them together. And you don't have to learn what, I mean, obviously, this is not a good way to learn, but it's a good way to get the work done, right? On that one, for example, assuming they say, anywhere that there's, so assuming you want to write a simple formula where they tell you that if any of this thing has video, put yes. If not, put no. If anything here has video, put yes. If not, put no. So I'm going to change this to sorry, minutes be 23. Okay. Yeah. So now we want to Excel. If this thing has video, right? If any word here has a video, put yes. If not, put no. Right? We can just come here and say, I mean, normally Onyeka could have said equals to if this contains, I know I've not taught you this, but just follow me. If it contains video, put yes. If not, put no. Right? No, but it won't contain videos now. That means my formula is wrong. So I need another formula, but I don't know which other formula to use. I can come here. I mean, I've written it for you, obviously, but like you can write by yourself, right? And I will explain ChatGPT and stuff later, right? I come here, so please, I beg, help me write a formula that if in B23 the word video, if some B23 includes the word video, then return yes. If not, put no, right? And I even helped it. I even give him an example so that he understand, or the AI understand. He says, I should use this formula. I'm like, okay. So, and he's explaining to me how to use the formula. But I mean, I don't need the explanation. All I need is the formula for now. So I come here and I put it here, right? And I put enter, right? Oh wow, he actually did the tax for me, right? And he used 3 formulas. He used if, he used is number, he used search. So he used 3 formulas for one thing. There's no how, I mean, I never put search in this in what I'm going to teach you. I never put is number or is text in what I'm going to teach you, right? But ChatGPT was able to do it together, right? So you just go to ChatGPT to openai.com, you create an account and you'll be able to use it for free, right? It's very easy, very basic, and it just helps automate tasks you might have from time to time. I will do one more and we can call it a day. One more, and I think I will do pivot tables, right? Pivot tables. Just is it pivot tables? Okay, no, I will do mail merge, right? Mail merge. This is a bonus for us, right? But I would like to beg us, right? I know, I mean, this session is recorded and it will be ready for upload by sometime later this afternoon, right? Before end of day today, the video will be up on my YouTube channel. So I would like to please ask you for 2 things. I'll be wrapping up in the next few minutes. Just want to run you through the mail merge, right? But 2 things I would like from you. Number 1, if you like to, I would like to get your feedback, honest feedback on this training, right? I know that more to be covered. Excel is really an extensive course. Initially, I wanted to do it like different things on the different days, but I realized that many people were coming and they were not available for all the days. So like, you know what, I'll just keep repeating the same thing and just thought like last week I did not touch on many things I thought today, like a lot, trim, round, data tables, none, right? So I really like to get your feedback, right? So please, I'm going to share a link where you can please subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can be first to know when this recording is out, right? It's be out today. So please, if you'd like to get it. And I said I'm going to be releasing videos about 204 short videos, really short videos, 1 minute, 2 minutes, explaining how to use the various functions, right? So in case you are stuck, you can go there and just use it and just move on, right? So please, I'd like you to please subscribe to my channel and also please provide feedback. I mean, feedback is what helped me improve. Feedback I got from last week helped me improve in this session, right? The feedback I will get in this session will help me improve for next session. So please, I will really appreciate. I will send a mail to your I'll send a mail to you in a short while as well. So please, right? I would really appreciate if I can get your feedback and subscribe to my channel. So before that, I'll quickly like to run through mail merge, right? Just as a bonus, right? So I don't know if I've ever noticed what's it? I've lost my train of thought. Let's say you have you receive like personalized letters from your bank or from, if you're in school, from your school, right? Maybe dear Inoma or dear Adeyinka Adegoke. Like, how did the person sit down and write different letters, right? I mean, without using any application like MailChimp or stuff, right? How do you do it? Or let's say, I mean, let me give you a real life example. So I was working in where I was working. Like currently, I work in the Big Four. Unless I'm young, I can say that one. But at that time, I was working where I was working, and so they wanted to do a circulation letter. I'm going to share my screen, my full desktop actually. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to share my full screen. I think I'll just do that. So so I was working where I was working, and I was tasked to write letters, right? I mean, confirm the balances that certain individuals were owing a particular company, right? So I went to write different. So the task was to write different letters. I had about 785 companies, right? So this is just like a brief, right? This is just 31. So I had like, imagine I had 31 letters to write and I had to customize everything. So as in customizing it by the name, the address, the amount they owe, everything, like literally. So let's just imagine I have to do this for 700 and something letters, right? You'd be like, where will I start from? Where am I starting? Where am I heading to? Right? How do I process all this thing at the same time? And this is where mail merge comes. And I'm giving this bonus. Maybe next class I'll give you a bonus of how Excel integrates with PowerPoint. All these tools, all the Microsoft tools integrates a lot, right? And so, for example, now we have this data, right? Database of all the customers that were owing us, their name, customer address, state, country, and the amount they are owing us, right? And we have this letter, right? And I want to do this for everybody, right? For all those, I want to replicate this for everybody. What I use is a mail merge. So what I do that I come to my Excel. Sorry, I come to my Word document and I click on mailings, right? And for mailings, right? Because I would like to show you. I'll click on step-by-step wizard, right? Step-by-step wizard. So now you can do it as a letter, you can do it as an email. So that means you can I can because I don't want to send emails, general emails to random people, right? You can do it as an email, letter, you can even PDF it if you're using VBA assistance, right? So for example, what we want to do is that we want to send these letters to different people, right? So what we want to write here, so Excel is asking us, are you doing letters or stuff? So let's say let's assume we are doing letters. So I said we're doing letters. We click on next, start document, right? So Excel, don't worry. This document I want to use, this is my template I'm using. Excel says, okay, no problem, right? Excel says, okay, so what is your, what list do you want to use? That means where's the database that contains the list of everything you have. So I click on browse, right? And I go to where I saved this file, right? So I go to where this file is saved. It's saved on my data as mail merge data, right? And I click on open, right? So Excel processes the data, right? And it says that it has a cover sheet and it has a data sheet. Say Excel, it's only data sheet I want. I don't need cover page. Okay, right? So Excel processes it for me. Right? I say, oh, in your data page, this is what is there. You have state, blah 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 blah. Right? And Excel automatically knows that the first row, because this is what we have here. Excel automatically knows that this is the data headers, right? Customer name, address, blah blah blah, right? So Excel automatically knew that this was the headers, right? I said, okay, that is fine, right? So next one is write your letter, right? So now I have to start writing my letter, right? So how do I want to write the letter? I want to write the managing director of this social company in this social state, in this social blah 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 and everything, right? So I say dear, right? And dear, the first one to put is the person's name, right? So I come here and I click on insert merge field. So is their customer name, right? The next other customer name is the customer address, right? Customer address. Then I want to put the person's state and the person's country, right? Then if you go further down the letter, you will see where a space to put the person amount, the person owing you. Then I come here and I put the amount, right? So is there, let me move this down here. Their customer name, blah 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 blah, right? So what I can do here is next one, preview your letters, right? So if you can see now, he has picked the first customer name, Captain TikTok. There, the managing director of this customer name, of this customer address, of the customer state, of the customer country, owing me this amount of money, right? And what I can do is I can preview for all of them, for one, for two, see automatically, right? He has done everything for me automatically, right? So this is how you can leverage the use of Excel and Word together, right? There's so much, there's so much you can do with Excel, right? But I would like to thank you guys so much for joining this session. I hope you really learned one or two, but I would really love, really extremely love if you can please give me a feedback right? Because it helps me to improve, right? And I'm also planning some further sessions that will help, right? And some longer sessions. I'm planning a Excel marathon, right? That day we're just going to intermediate and advanced, and it's full day, so you can join. If you're tired, you can go. I will not be tired. We keep on going more and more, right? So please and please and please, I'm sending a mail now to everybody. It is sent, right? So please, in that mail, you see the two things I will need from you. Number one, I would like you to please subscribe to my channel to get more information around more 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 training that will come in, and this video will be uploaded there. And you can also see the video from last class uploaded there as well, right? And I'm also going to be releasing series of lectures around the 204 Excel functions I mentioned about, right? And primarily, I really love your feedback, right? Your honest feedback. It really helps me to improve, and it's also a motivator to do more, right? This is free. There's no charge, nothing at all, right? It's all free. So the best you can do is to do this for me. Please subscribe, and please give me feedback so I can improve. Thank you so much for joining the class, and yep, see you some other time. Cheers. Bye.